Hello and welcome to another Parkinson's Walks vlog. You've got quite a bit to go through this week. You've been very prolific, I have to say. As per usual, if you went on here to see the video about Kingham, then just jump forward 20 minutes and that'll get you thereabouts I should think. The rest of us are going to look at matters arising from the last two videos. First one was at Kingham Station, and the second one was tunnel in the Forest of Dean. So we'll get there ASAP hopefully. But meanwhile, let's go and see what you've all had to say in the Parkinson's Walks family. Malcolm will kick us off. Malcolm Richardson. Kingham, he says, the Clapham Junction of Oxfordshire. Well, not quite perhaps, he says, I agree. But it must have been a mecca for rail enthusiasts with its main line, branches right and left, and its crossover. Yeah, it must have been a very busy station at one point in its life, wouldn't it? Unfortunately no more. And then Malcolm wonders, I wonder where that marvellous footbridge went. Yeah, I wonder. Surely they didn't scrap it. Tell me they didn't scrap it. I bet they did though. Oh dear. I've not heard of it turning up anywhere, so seems likely, doesn't it? Ron from Abandoned Railways says another enjoyable matters arising with the Parkinson's Walks family. Yeah, good. Plus a good exploration of Kingham Station, he says, and its history. No explorers at the moment, not for Ron, because we've been hit by unsettled weather and rainy spells of rain. So it must be summer, he says. Yeah, very true, Ron, very true. Never mind, you'll get out there soon enough. Lionel and Mary Travels. Lionel's putting a few films up just lately. Are you keeping up with him? He's going well. Here's a nice video. Nice to see the old platform still visible. Just. And a pleasure to see a modern railway devoid of those hideous gantries and power lines. I know what you mean. It kind of does offend, doesn't it, in this country when you see all those gantries and things. But strangely enough, when you go to somewhere like Switzerland, where brother-in-law Mike tends to holiday with our lovely Pam, and when you go over there, somehow it seems less intrusive. Seems like it should be. I suppose it's just a matter of perception, really. There you go. Marilyn! Oh, Marilyn, what's Marilyn been up to? Oh dear, she said, what a nice, peaceful and positive start to my Friday morning at Kingham. We visited there many years ago, she says. Probably in the late 90s. But I don't remember finding those extra platforms. And they must have been much more visible then, with a lot less vegetation, yeah. This just goes to show, doesn't it? We all do the same. You just go from one place to another. Don't stop to look around. Just keen on getting moving. Oh, nice to see a proper, visible, actual GWR station sign too. I do like to see, she says, a visible sign. It's one of my pet gripes, as you probably remember. Yeah. You mentioned the Pontypool and Barnavon. Oh no. Here we go again. You mentioned the Pontypool and Barnavon Railway. Well, I didn't, Marilyn, but I suspect Trev probably did. And we used to go there a lot, she says. I loved hearing those tough little engines going up the inclines. I bet that was magic. Still is, still is. I've been confined to barracks again this week, she says. Apart from a visit to my osteopath, who suggested I might have a hairline fracture. Oh, blimey, that's not good news, is it? She says, I ought to have an x-ray, but as there's a 10 to 12 hour wait in our local A&E, who knows, blimey. Meanwhile, the local paracetamol tablet pile is still going down. Hang in there, Marilyn, hang in there. Pete Payne. He says, thanks, great. I've only just been reading about Kingham Station, another one of those odd coincidences. My brother bought a large wooden trunk marked GWR Kingham emergency box. What a bit of history. And now the box contains his collection of Hornby O-gauge trains. Well, that's fitting, isn't it? Brilliant. Poor Boyle. On the film The Last Day of the Cheltenham and Kingham line, so there's a film on the last days, is there? That's worth hunting for. He says you can see the train coming into Kingham Station from the Stowe direction, with the bridge and the Banbury crossover behind. As I've said before, I used this line from September 53, my first term at Kingham Hill, until July 59 when I left. The line survived for another 4 years. So there you go, I actually travelled on that line. Isn't that amazing? Well done, Paul. Here's somebody new for us, and with a channel called Somerset Man Walking. It's Darren. Darren says, I was born in a village in Somerset of Rington. I'm currently researching the Rington Vale Light Railway, which served the building of the Blagton Lake. It was a branch off the Strawberry line. Now here's the good bit. My father was born in the station house at Burrington. Father was born in the station house. Wow. My dad and his siblings were called the Railway Children. Yes, definitely interested in the old railways. He says, we've done a few videos on this little known line. I wish we could turn back the clock. Yeah, don't we all there. Well then, Darren, welcome to the family. David from Spain. What's David up to? Another fun day, he says, from the garden studio. I read Trev's comments yesterday, and it reminded me of a stay in a little hotel in Torquay. There were some German guests at the next table, and the Pontypool and Malvern Railway was mentioned once in conversation, but we got away with it. You wouldn't have got away with it if Trevor had been there. I enjoyed the visit to Kingham Station, he says. After seeing the opening shot from the bridge, I really didn't imagine there would be much there. With a little bit of weeding, we could reopen that part of the station. Do you know, I suspect it might take a little more than a little bit of weeding, David, but I understand your sentiment. That's not Trev, is it? We mentioned your blessed railway. Oh dear. Yeah, oh well. David says down in Spain, because he keeps us abreast of the conditions down there. Still plenty of snow on the high mountain, but the winter polar bear is now more like a Dalmatian. So it hangs over it in the winter, it looks like a polar bear, and now it's a bit speckledy. Oh well, there you go. James from Canada. Every time you say pause the video to read, I think, I bet I can read it without pause. Gee, he was right. Yes, but when I do that, you see, James, I kind of read it through till I get to where you might be thinking you're going to reach the end, and then I cut it off right there. Good work on spotting the platform edging and bridge supports. Were you a detective in a former life? Not that I'm aware of. Michael from Poland. Ah, what's going on in Poland these days then? Michael. Another Friday fun day in Studio One in your garden. The film from Kingham was superb. How wonderful to be able to see the remains of platforms 3 and 4. Yeah, it certainly was, wasn't it? As we say, carefully hidden, but still there. Oh, Mags and her son, Mags is Michael's good lady, left home this morning at 5 AM to go to Warsaw to catch a train to Gdansk in the north of Poland on the Baltic coast. Crikey. We need a new car since Radek's Hyundai Sonata was recently turned into a block of scrap metal. Oh dear. Why the train to Gdansk? To pick up a brand new Hyundai electric car and drive it back home. Mags and I no longer drive, so Radek will be our chauffeur from now on. What? Michael's gone up a level, hasn't he? He's gone and got a chauffeur now. You'll have to practice the wave. The royal wave, Michael. Oh, lovely. Right, and last week's film, A Dry Brook in a Tunnel, which last we found open, and Trev jumped straight in. Well, Trev would. Good evening, Ron, he says. Great to see there's now access to the tunnel and you had some great weather for it. It's amazing how things change, she says. I went to the northern portal of Chedworth Tunnel last week. I compared to just over a year ago when it was a pleasant stroll along an old track bed to the tunnel. This time it was almost impassable, mainly due to fallen trees. Yeah, they won't get cleared very quickly, I don't suppose, if it's not an official footpath. Yeah, but then Trev goes and gives us some more details and some more stuff to that, but he doesn't mention a certain railway. It's a bit odd. And somebody under the heading of International Steam says, no name I'm afraid, but back in 2012 it comes up with stories there, recollections from some people that actually worked on and around that tunnel, and it's a brilliant read. I'd thoroughly recommend you get in there and have a read of that one. There's so many that are worth reading in full. I can't obviously send them out in full on here. We'd be here all day. But yeah, it's amazing really, the knowledge from you guys and the stories you tell. Really, really good, really good. I just hope I give you a taste. Michael again then. Congratulations on finishing Nature's obstacle course on your way to the tunnel. Yes, it felt a bit like an obstacle course at times. Well worth the effort to be able to see such a magnificent structure. The stonemason skills are clear for all to see, aren't they? Just always amazed at that. Those huge great blocks, how on earth did they manhandle those into position just where they got to be? Spot on, dead right. Amazing, amazing. Jim from New Zealand. A very brave exploration, he says. I hope you had a backup rescue team standing by in case of need. Well, I usually tell Pauline where I'm going, but I suspect she's forgotten that before I even get out the door, to be honest. But we've always survived up till now. Walking was very scenic, says Jim, and I'm sure your limbo dancing skills came in handy for getting under some of those fallen trees. My limbo dancing days are a long, long way behind me, I'm afraid, Jim. Marilyn again. This time on our tunnel. Well, she says, that was some real intrepid exploring today. She said, I drove over that road many times and always wondered where the tunnel was. I didn't realise it was never used apart from during wartime. There you go. Who knew there was a gold mine in the forest? Did they actually find any? Ah, well. Paul from West Country Wanderings actually did a film on that. So you get all your info on the old gold mine from Paul's channel, I would suggest. And Marlin goes on to suggest, he said, I suggest you put a hard hat and a wide beam torch on your Christmas list this year. Yeah. I hope you had cheese and pickle sandwiches with you to keep your strength up. I'm never far from a cheese and pickle sandwich, Marilyn. Oh dear. Still boring myself to death at home, apart from going to the Parkinsons group on Wednesday. Of course, she's restricted travel. Probably by her daughters, I would think, who are trying to keep her under control, which must be a nightmare. But she says, I will have to break out soon. Marilyn, you be careful, you've got enough problems. Abandoned railways, with you all the way with this explorer, he says. Lots to see, mystery objects, much ducking and diving and diversions. Well, my ducking and diving doesn't equal yours out there, Ron, I have to say. But we do what we can. Malcolm Richardson, wonderful trek to the forest. It's an abandoned tunnel. Really interesting finding that block of stone, showing how it was finished on 3 sides before being set in place, with, it seems, very little cement. Yeah, what was that block doing there? Obviously with its skim of cement on it. Could it have been a demonstration block, so if you have any new masons turn up, you show them this is what we expect? Could it have been? I don't know, any other suggestions? Put them in the comments. We'd like to see them. Yeah. He said, despite this, or perhaps because of it, the tunnel still looks in pretty good condition. Yeah, it did, didn't it? I have to say. Lenny, I was actually there 2 weeks ago, he says, along with the quarry next door. Yeah, I was hoping to see the other end and be encouraged to keep going, but I couldn't, so I turned around and went back, which would please my wife, of course. It's a great tunnel, he says, with some unique features. The other end is also open and has a locomotive in there. Oh, don't tell me that, Lenny. He said, I uploaded a short video. Go and have a look. Yeah, I will do. Yeah. I should be back down there if I'm not careful. Pete Payne. That was well worth the effort, he said. Still never ceases to amaze me the amount of back-breaking hard work that went into the making of these railways, and now all just disappearing. It's so right, but look at what was involved in chiseling through that solid rock in places, and now it's just quietly forgotten about. Amazing. Lionel! Good morning. You said you had your work cut out to actually reach the tunnel, but with all the fallen and partially fallen trees, trip hazards everywhere, but as you usually do, perseverance got you there. The bird song itself was worse of all. He's a pain, isn't he, that Trev? James from Canada. It's alright, I'm trying to delay this so that thing disappears. Actually it's multi-engine, so it's unlikely to be Trev. We might have to let him off that one. Right, okay. James from Canada. I don't know what was better, he says, film or the disclaimer at the beginning. Well, as long as we keep you entertained, James, that's all right by me. The OVM, official virtual mascot, is on steroids. That's our Sumac. Morning, Sumac. He's on steroids, making her eat like a pig, but also a bit lethargic, giving me time to get some work done without a ball being continually thrust at me. One more week of work for me, with just a stack of reports and several meetings separating me from summer. Yeah, 5 or 6 weeks for James to wander around getting into trouble, into mischief. West Country Wanderings. Paul. Fantastic, he says. As you know, I did a video about the gold mine. I didn't get as far as the tunnel. Yeah, there you go. Go and check on Paul's. And if you can find it, Paul's got so much stuff on his channel. Use the search facility. Jonathan. Oh yes, I made a comment that they didn't find enough gold for a wedding ring. And Jonathan says at the current price of £2,540 per ounce, it would still be worth looking for. Blimey, wouldn't it just? Right. Last page, folks. Engage on a shelf. Our Engage on a Shelf, our Simon, or Hairy Golfer if you prefer that, one of his channels. He's getting a bit broody, I think. The retirement's coming up, and I reckon that's playing on his mind because he's got very philosophical. He said I should be doing a little exploring on my retirement holiday. He's going to the bridge over the River Kwai and Hellfire Pass. Yeah, we went there. Don't be fooled by the railway bridge. It's up there now because it's about half a mile from where the proper bridge used to be, apparently, Simon. Yeah. He's going to visit the prisoner of war camp and the cemetery. Now, he goes on to tell us, my grandfather was in the King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry. His battalion was sent to Burma, except that his feet would not let him go to the tropics. Instead, he was the reserve fireman who was sent to the Midlands during the Blitz. Blimey, no easy option then, was it? Reserve fireman and the Midlands during the Blitz. Blimey. If he had gone to Burma, there's a very good chance I would not be here. I told you he was maudlin, didn't I? Blimey. Don't know where that came from, Simon. That's you're getting a bit deep. Good on you. David, Spain. He said you do yourself a disservice. It's as well worth publishing. The same with atmospheric and perfectly understandable. You're very kind, David. Thank you. The door didn't look forced. No, it didn't. I suppose somebody just cut the lock off. I don't remember looking to see that situation, see whether there was any sign of a lock being lopped off. No, that's true. Yeah. To be honest, he says, the portal approach filled me with dread, but the water was on the outside and it looked dry inside. Yeah, that's always a problem, isn't it? Walk along the embankment wasn't without its challenges too. I think I would have sent Ron, the other one, on ahead to clear the way, leaving a stash of cheese and pickle sandwiches every so often. Oh, the blackbird's turned up now to make a noise. Sure, that blackbird, he thinks he knows everything. And he thinks he owns a garden. I don't see him paying the council tax bill. Yes. Oh dear. He then goes on to mention Pontypool and Malvern Railway. Oh, that's a bit frightening, that one, David. Oh well. Somerset man walking then. Hi Darren. Hi Ron. This was definitely worth putting on, he says. I'm no expert, but the tunnel near us, of which I've done a couple of videos, which is the Chute Shelf Tunnel, comprises of part stone and brick and solid rock. Yeah, and they had to work out how to deal with all those things. Oh, shut up. And all the challenges that came ahead. Isn't that lovely, wasn't it? Right, so, archive film coming up in a few minutes' time. Kingham Part 2. And we're going to have a look at that from a different angle. And then next week, over the years I've been filming, I've come up with lots of different clips of different locomotives and what have you, from local to me and also round and about. So I decided to make a montage of them, stick them all together, stick them out in a film, see what you think. So it's mainly from the Gloucestershire Steam Heritage Railway, but I've slipped a few in there from Michael, the brother-in-law from down the Bluebell Railway. Yeah, slight technical hitch there, but I think we're up and running again. Good. Right, so next week then, we'll see you by the trackside. Don't be late. In our ramblings along this old forgotten railway then, which comes out from Lansdowne in Cheltenham, and Doversford splits out there. We've been following this route of late, and now we've got to Kingham, where the main line from Worcester to Oxford was situated, which was a destination of sorts, although the line did go on up to Banbury. This is Kingham Station today. This was it in the Edwardian period, about 1910. Beautiful photograph. But we're not interested in the stations because we've covered that in part 1. What we are interested in is a bypass loop. And if you look above the canopy of the walkway, you can see a bridge and some very high embankments. That's where we're headed. This gives you the layout. Here you've got the station. That's the road there where we've taken our initial photographs from. And then you've got, this is the main line, Oxford, Worcester, Evesham. And then that one branches off to Banbury. This one goes to Cheltenham, that's the one we've been following. And there is the bypass loop, straight over the main line at that point. Just in Bledington now, and we're going to try and find the old railway embankment that led to the crossover. The embankment is right ahead of us on what looks like the skyline, and it moves left to right. Very distinctive row of railway posts there, look. And here it is, still in use. These days that's a farm track, a little less romantic, but still being used. This would have been an accommodation crossing, get the farmer from one side to the other. It's got a few railway engineering bits on it, look. These things normally still work. Yeah, look at that. 60 years old. Even the gate looks possible as an original, doesn't it? Got some pretty sturdy ironwork on it. In the hedge on the opposite side is a piece of old broad gauge rail being used as a straining post. Goodness knows what the rails were like when that was serving its time. has a proper rail. See if we can get a little ways along the track. Line of concrete posts. Gosh, they splashed out on this. No old railway sleepers used here, look. Mind you, they'd probably been in better condition. Oh, this has been hauled out of the ground, look, for some reason. Another straining post. You can see how they put cross pieces in, look, under soil level. Another one there. Remains of the old boats for the straining, look, straining wire. Wow. Collection of old posts which have been taken out, stood against the tree. I reckon that's when they cleared the line, because it's actually the tree is growing round the posts. Yeah, I reckon they stood those up there when they cleared the line, before the farmer probably said, oh, you leave the rest. Another accommodation crossing. On we go. Haven't reached a full stop yet. We're back to split sleeper fence post here. Well, that's hard to say. Saving a few bob. Wouldn't mind betting there's something railway amongst that lot. Farmers aren't daft, are they, when they use these old rail lines as their farm tracks? Very well made. Is that still ballast? I think it might be. Well worn. Definitely old ballast there. Good for drainage then. We're starting to rise above the surrounding countryside here. Heading for our crossover. This spot here marks the divide then. So if you're going to Kingham Station, you stay on the level, carry on along here. If you're going to Banbury and don't want to go to Kingham, you switch over and go to the left, where the embankment gets serious. Can you make out the rising ground there, look, to the left, under the tree? We'll pick that route. We're right here, out in the middle of the country, just where the lines divide. So the left-hand line, as we're looking at it there, goes to Kingham, whereas the right-hand line now branches out, starts to climb to cross the main line. There's a bit more ballast in the path, and that's where the ground drops away because we've now started to climb. I'm not too sure how far we can make it along here. We'll wait to find out. Already quite a way above the original track, and we've only come 50 yards. Nice old rail culvert. That's worth a look at this engineering. Look across this brook. Culvert, I suppose you'd call it. And you've got the tunnel here under the main line, and then double tunnel there under the embankment. That's a thing of beauty. Climbing well. Back the aeroplane. Looking down on the old sleeper rail posts. Starting to get reinforced now. They don't last forever. Well, that's a pity. I was hoping to get to the end, to where it crosses the main line, when it would have been grubbed out. But shorts on today, folks, sorry. Makes that impenetrable, well, as far as I'm concerned. We'll cross down onto the lower track. See if we can find much out there. Another nice culvert. It doesn't look like it's seen any water for a while. Wonder if it's something else. Embankment now to our left. You can see the spine of this culvert, look. The land around it must have fallen away and dropped. And the old brick arch is holding up. As is that one underneath the embankment. A substantial brickwork, isn't it? Yet another culvert. You can see why they had to raise both track beds up a bit, can't you here? Obviously it's very low lying and prone to floods. We're in the middle of nowhere. When it's working, no one's going to be coming along here. Yeah, look at the beauty of that coping stone. That's something else. I recognise that building. We could see that from the station. And if we pan slightly to the right, there's the footbridge. And there are the lights in the car park. We've got nearer than I thought we would. The track now, as you can see, curves to the right. That's because this is heading into Kingham Station, whereas the embankment on our left has now gone straight on, diverged from this track. There's a reward for effort. The buttress is still in place. So that's where the rails would have gone straight across this line, heading straight for Banbury non-stop, rather than calling to Kingham Station. And then we're on the slight embankment still. Get us level with the station, keep our feet dry. Meanwhile, I see a track over there, which regrettably leaves us facing that. Oh, bad joke. This is about as near as we can get. You can just make out the buttress on this side, and then again over on that side. That's probably the best view. Brilliant. Real good. Well, I think we've got about all we're going to get out of Kingham then. It's quite good really. This was the well, one of the aiming points for our railway all the way from Cheltenham. Once it got to Kingham it could join up with the Oxford-Worcester line. It did actually go on over this crossing that we've just seen and go up to Banbury. But I think that was the first part that actually closed when it was all shut down. So now I'm going to trudge back home. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Subscribe, like or share. See you on the next one.